Yeah, see? All right.
Ooh.
You've all been warned. Be on your best behavior, Sean.
Okay, so not a lot of housekeeping tonight. Next month, well, it's almost basically 2 weeks from today, right?
Mhm.
Let's see. The next in-person meeting is the 8th. Right now, we don't have anything planned specifically. So if anybody has ideas, let us know. I've just been too kind of like occupied elsewhere that I haven't even really given it much thought. So if you guys have any ideas or something you want to go over or find a speaker or something, let me know.
Well, I also got a reminder the other day from that speaker that I told you about, Jeff Swinger.
Okay.
Sent you guys a message when I was out in Utah that he offered to do a talk. And he reminded me again last night. So
Oh, geez, was that in our chat?
yes, it was way back when in April.
Back in April. Can you resend that? Yeah, I apparently missed that when it came through.
Yeah, he's an amazing photographer. He has done 5 Olympics. He is the one of the head photographers for the Utah Jazz. The NBA hires him. He does photography for USA Sports, as well as all other kinds of photography. But he asked if we were ever looked for guest speakers, and I said we did. So I'll send the information again, Sean, because it gives his website and everything to go to and look. But he just asked me again the other day if we were interested still.
Yeah, I mean, probably, or send it to the email. That way it doesn't get like lost in the chat.
Okay.
Yep, to find something back in April in a Facebook chat is basically impossible.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll look for it and send it out.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll take a look at it and
Okay.
and we'll send it out to everybody so everybody can look at it.
Okay.
And then let's see. Anybody remember what the challenge was for next month? Anybody who's in the leadership?
Oh, I have it written down somewhere. You want me to go look?
No, I have it here somewhere too. Sorry, guys, I'm obviously not put together today. I've spent all day trying to pack for my trip this weekend and almost forgot about tonight.
You guys heading up to Haunted Island?
I think Asina went to go find out the challenges. She's looking for it.
Yeah, I have it too if you want me to go look.
I have the notes written. I have the notes. I'm just getting them open now. Just waiting for a word to open.
Oh, okay.
You're muted.
Mute is motion.
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 Okay.
Motion.
So motion is, and however you guys decide to approach that. So you can do, you can pan cars, horses, whatever. Go out and shoot some waterfalls. Just do long shutter and just introduce motion into your image in any way that you want.
The exact opposite of the still life.
Basically, yeah. So that's that, and hopefully in June we'll have something put together, and that goes along.
I am so sorry.
That's okay.
Mute button.
Yeah, so that's the plan for June. It's kind of up in the air a little bit, but the June challenge is motion, and then towards after that, the end of June will be drop off at Riverstones for the Still Life show. And that more information on that will be coming for anybody who's never done it before. Essentially, it's you drop off a literal finished piece of artwork, essentially, something framed and matted, or order a canvas or something, and we hang it up in Riverstones and have a little show with an opening reception and all that. So that'll be, I think the drop off is going to be June 30th with the opening on the 1st of July. And then we go through this into our summer break. And the only thing scheduled in the summer break right now is the Star Island trip at the end of July. Again, it's either going to be the end of July or early August. We're kind of hedging our bets a little bit so we can play the weather, so we don't run into the same issue we had last year. So it'll either be the last weekend in July or the first weekend in August, whichever one makes sense weather-wise for Star Island. And then we're into the fall after that. So that's it for housekeeping right now. Always open, if you have suggestions for topics you want to see covered, you see a speaker online that you want us to reach out to, just get the information to us. You can send it to the GRCC mailbox, the same place you sent your submissions to. You can reach out to any of us just through like Facebook Messenger or whatever. We're always looking for suggestions. This brain is starting to run out of ideas. So let's see. Anyways, we have 7 years of this and starting to run out of challenge ideas. All right, that being said, I'm going to share my screen here so we can get started. Lightroom catalog. You guys can all see that?
Yep.
Woo!
Got a new challenge idea for you.
What's that?
Recycling.
As in, like, go out and photograph my waste management bin?
I mean, it's a challenge. You do what you want with that. Whether that's, recycling or recycling old challenge ideas.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we can go back to stuff that, because a lot of you guys weren't even part of the club, in those original first years. So yeah, I can definitely go back and see. I have a list of all the challenges we've done. That's a good idea. All right, let's see. So first up, we have Chris Morse. And F, full screen. Come on, you can do it. F. What do we think?
Like,
I like it. And the first thing that comes to my mind is I think the crop on the top is it's too tight. It's,
to the top.
yeah, maybe lessen up some of the leg.
Yeah, it just a
And
teeny bit top heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's very nice.
it's very
Mhm.
nice. Yep. Yeah, I think if she just shortened up leg, cropped it less from the top, I think it would be beautiful.
Yep.
Is that like a sepia finish?
Who's this?
Are they on?
I didn't see it.
Are the Morses on?
I don't think so.
It looks black and white. It doesn't look sepia to me, but
Yeah, I don't. There's some oranginess to it. It almost looks like maybe sepia a little bit.
Yeah, not quite total black and white.
Because if you look at the edge, like that border is white.
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
One other thing I would say with this one is, so if you look at the spoon,
Yep,
so yeah, it's really hot. and
highlighted.
blowing all the highlights out. So see if you can try to tone it down a little bit and then try to recover the shadows, because the shadows aren't really the subject. Whereas like that arrangement of different bowl, plates, spoons, and cups. So you want to make sure that that is got all the details in it, and you can still recover some of the shadows. So try to see if you can tone it down again. That'd be my suggestion.
Yeah, you could say that about the little cookie too on the bottom. If you darken it just a little bit, you get a little bit more detail.
And what about the middle cup? It's kind of off. You see how the top and the bottom, the handles are kind of going the same way, and then that one's kind of turned, but the flower is also turned too. So maybe turn the flower, the middle cup more to the left so that you can see the flower on it.
Yeah, create more of a pattern with the handles.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I like it either way. I like it the way it is because it sort of breaks up what your brain is looking for a pattern and it's not there. So I think that's kind of, it adds some tension to it.
yeah. I don't necessarily
that?
mean by the handles though, but just because part of the flower's cut off on it and you can't quite see it, but you're right. It would kind of create some curiosity on that.
Yeah,
I also look at the top teacup, so when you look at the picture too, it's not like a perfect horizon horizontal. It's kind of off a little bit, so I try to see if I can straighten that out too.
I mean, I like how like the cookies are like sort of staggered and they're not even in the same position on either plate.
Mhm.
Like the top, they're sort of crisscrossed, and the middle one, they're stacked right on top of each other, and the one at the bottom, they're sort of next to each other. Yeah, I like that. I agree with you about the cropping at the top too. I also would like to see the angle of the camera tilted up slightly so you're more like head on
Mhm.
as opposed to looking down on it. But I think it's pretty nitpicky. I think it's a good image.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of really nice texture in that in the table and in the leg of the table and in the background. Like there's a lot of nice textures everywhere, and I can see why she would have kept all those elements in there. But it's almost a little bit too much, and I would have liked to see just kind of more of the cups, just a little bit more centered in on that. I mean, it's such an interesting, weird thing, like to just have these cups stacked and that's the still life that you've created. So I think that
Well,
brings in so much interest that
I wonder if
know that
bringing-
They could have they could have brought the crop up a little bit on the table. And that way you still have, what's going on in the background and you know it's going to be a table without the leg. And I'm, almost to the last indent there from the table.
Well, I think if they brought the whole pile of china forward a couple of inches, maybe, you would have been able to keep the leg.
Go up a little further, Sean.
I don't think I'd want to lose the leg because that's got a lot of texture in it.
Yeah, I like the leg. I don't like that.
It
I like
does have a lot of texture in it, but is it necessary? Does it
I
help you tell the
I think
story?
Well,
I think it distracts from
I
the cups.
agree. I agree. I think that your eye sort of wanders down there, and it's just it just ends up in this like empty space where there's texture, but there's really nothing of any interest or circumstance there.
I don't know. Well, I like it. I think it's kind of interesting. But if
Yeah,
they brought the whole pile of china forward a couple of inches, they might have gotten a little bit. And I'm saying it was Chris.
It's Chris,
if
yeah.
Get another inch or two on the top, so it wasn't cut off right at the handle. Just a little bit.
Think,
Even that, what's on the screen right now, you're still seeing the texture in the leg, which I don't know. That appeals to me.
No, that's what this is about.
To me,
Yeah, I mean, I don't like
get
that-
a message in that says that tradition isn't necessarily ordered. And I kind of like that message, and all the thoughts about getting it aligned and symmetrical, to me, kind of defeats what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, I mean, I happen to agree with you. That's why I like the tension of having that one handle sort of facing the other way, and then having the cookies all on different sides. Yeah,
And
I
it
like
gives me
the-
Alice in Wonderland vibes, like the Tea
Yes,
Party and
it
Alice in
does.
Wonderland. Like it's the stuff here. The stuff here is elegant, but it's chaotic at the same time. It's got a really cool vibe to it.
Yep.
All you need is the Mad Hatter's hat on that one. You're right on that, Amanda.
All right. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but I do have our timer going tonight. So our 5 minutes came and went. Anybody have anything else for Chris?
I think it's a
Great job.
Yeah.
It's nice. I like it.
Nice
I
job,
like
Chris.
the balance of the black and white lines on there. It's
What was
nothing
that,
too
Ben?
dark, nothing too bright.
Yeah, it's pretty muted, which is kind of nice.
Good contrast.
Yeah, she controlled the zones pretty well. All right, nice work, Chris. Next up. This one is Deb Boulanger.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do what I wanted to, so that was kind of like last month at a workshop that I did. That's all I had to throw in. It's not what I intended, but
I like it. Is that the one you showed me after the meeting?
yeah,
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 I really like, because I said I liked it.
yeah. No, we had an unexpected week last week, which got me out. So it's like, this is all I got.
Well, you can't submit zingers every time, Deb.
I know. And this one I thought was perfect to pick apart because I could already see stuff on it.
Okay, well, what don't you like about it?
I like it. I really do. But I can see some highlights. Oh, you down at the bottom of the cup where the pearls are meeting, I see some highlights there. I see a little circle to the very left. I don't know what that is. It's just not what I had in mind. I was a little disappointed I couldn't do what I really wanted to do. That's all. And I see the specks on the black.
One thing I think is really done well here is the composition of the image itself, because those beads kind of lead you throughout the image, and you can see the flowers in the teacup. And it's really elegantly, everything's kind of placed really nicely in the scene.
Thank you.
Did this happen to be a macro?
No, it was my lens baby.
Oh,
I don't think that's come off my camera.
I think the only thing that I would just say is just be careful with depth of field too. Just so that one rose right there. And like, I mean, some of the beads are out of focus, which isn't so bad. I like that the teacup handle's out of focus, but one more stop could have helped you out there with that one flower on the left, because that one's not sharp. And you can see
So with this particular lens, Jared, that is the whole key to it, that it's an artistic lens. So that the lens, dependent upon what aperture stop you put it on, will grab one piece that's in center, or which is in clear focus, which you can see around the rim of the top of the cup, and then the rose to the left. It's just the artistic effect with the, it's a very different lens, but I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I think the hard part, Deb, is I think that is out of focus because it's the closest thing to the camera.
Right. And
So
the
like it's the biggest one too.
right, yes, no, I agree with that, but but knowing what and this was a lens baby workshop, actually. But no,
Okay.
I absolutely agree, that one should have been in focus.
Yeah, I mean, just you could have just like pulled the stem back to get it in line with these other ones,
Mm-hmm.
and that would have solved that for you.
Yep.
but it's a fantastic composition. I really love the composition.
Very nice.
Brilliantly done.
Yeah, I've taken 2 classes since then, so I have a little bit more of a handle on how to use that lens.
I would have pulled your main light off to one side.
So that's not directly on it where you've got all the flash of the light on the pearls.
Yeah, I mean, you'd still get a glint on the pearls.
Yeah.
But I think just having it off center would have added just a little bit more.
Okay.
No, I agree. It would have added more drama, just having a little bit more directionality into the light.
So take it to either the left or to the right, instead of kind of having it almost, pretty much almost dead on, I think.
Yeah, and you'd have to pick based on where you want certain shadows to fall. Do you want shadows of the roses on the teacup, or do you not want shadows? Or do you want the shadows of the pearls falling right on the center of that teacup?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would try both sides and see which way you like it.
Yeah, the lighting, I'm still struggling with the lighting. In fact, I said that to you on our last meeting, Sean. It's like, there's so many components to this. You've got your
Of course, take what I'm
composition,
saying with a grain
lighting.
of salt, because
Oh, no,
I have no directionality on mine that I wish I kind of had going to.
Yeah, no, this is all great feedback. I'm loving it. And that is one thing that I was also struggling with, was the lighting and the shadows and trying to figure out where to put it. But I like the idea, Ben, of one side or the other.
Yeah, I find with this kind of a composition, having the light have directionality, I don't know, it's more natural looking too, because especially when it's a teacup, you're used to looking at it from a specific perspective, just of like looking down on it. So you're already at like table level, and then having basically just the flat light coming in from directly in, I'm assuming right above the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just you could have so much more texture if you had the light sort of raking across these roses.
Yep.
As opposed to just like filling them in with light. Like each of these petals would be casting little shadows all over each other. And the pearls, yeah, you'd still, like, Ben's right, you'd still have specular highlights on the pearls, but they would be casting shadows and adding depth to the whole thing.
I would also like to see it in color, just because.
I do have the color one too that I can post afterwards. I'm hoping that I'm going to get what I want to get done for the show. I was actually trying to do a different teacup with hot water, and I had the tea and everything all in it. And that was my first attempt, which I burnt my hand. I was trying to get the steam coming up and I missed, and I burnt my hand.
So for steam, backlight.
Backlight?
Yep. Shine light through the steam so the camera can see it. Otherwise, the camera can't see it.
I was a little disappointed after I'd burned my hand and found out there was no steam in the photo.
Yeah. Honestly, in professional, like professional food photography, they fake it with like a little handheld steamer.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
That's too funny. So maybe I won't do the steaming tea coming out of the cup.
Oh no, try it. I mean, just put it, like, just play around with it. Put a hot cup of tea in front of a window and photograph it.
Yeah.
You know, and just make sure it's backlit, and that way you can the light is coming through the steam, illuminating it, and then the camera can see it.
Oh, neat. Okay, maybe I'll get a chance to try that too.
So, but our 5-minute timer's gone off. Deb, that's, I mean, it's a really cool idea, and hopefully you got something from these comments.
Absolutely, I did. I wish I had that cup again. I would like to retry it, but that's okay. I've got a different one.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice work, Deb.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Matt Vision, who made a product photo.
This was actually something I turned around and grabbed a snapshot of during the wedding. While the owner of the company was doing a little mock-up, drizzling the honey all over the thing, TikTok video. So yeah, I didn't have anything that I set up for this, but this was something that I grabbed recently that all right, that's still life enough. I'll participate.
Still life enough. It's definitely still life.
Yeah.
This stuff is fantastic though, so you should try it.
I mean, as a product photo for the spicy shark, I think you nailed it, right?
That's what it was pretty much.
Right, exactly. I think that's the most important thing. It's lit well. I mean, maybe I would want the label turned a little bit more towards the camera, but that's picky. I like I like the honey drops here.
I kind of wish that food was a little bit clearer.
I agree. I was going to
It's
say
giving me a
for
little bit of a headache.
for a product photo, I think it works pretty well, but I would like to see the depth of field maybe a little less shallow.
I also like the colors in the background, how it blends in with the colors in the honey and the croissant or whatever that is.
The wedding venue was in a barn.
It's a croissant.
Yeah, croissant. Actually, it was something called a lobster tail.
Oh,
Yeah, the whole, and you need the whole lobster tail showing too, I think.
Yeah.
Instead of
Like I
covering
said,
up.
I literally turned around and snapped and ran back off to keep photographing people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're photographing a wedding, you don't have much time to just goof off.
Yeah, basically.
But I'd get the end of the pastry and the beginning of the flower. That
Yeah,
would make it.
Oh yeah, looks like it's a rose.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
I shot this, the owner of the company that was doing the thing right there, I basically said, I'll crop this and use it so you crop this and set it up so you can use it for product photography and Instagram. It's basically what I did. So
nice.
That's cool. I like it.
I definitely agree with including the other stuff if this was like to be set up for still life and
Oh,
having more of a depth of field in there, but I was like, oh, you want something done for your product? Here you go.
On the fly, it's not bad. That's for sure.
It's like fully decent.
It's
Like what?
mediocre at best.
As in like it's like decent.
Oh, really decent. Got it.
I don't know if I made that up or not. I just
I like it. I'm going to use that.
Me.
I hope so, Matt. I hope you use that.
It's better than mediocre at best.
Fully decent, as a saying, is mediocre at best.
What were you saying?
Was it fully decent as a saying? Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, on camera flash. Mag mod setup.
Are you using a sphere for this?
I'm sorry. What?
It did a great job of not being too harsh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Controlling the light in that place was very difficult because there was one wall of open windows with the sun blaring through, and there was a lot of darks in the place. So it was a test of my skills of adjusting my light running around. That was a lot of fun shooting that venue. But yeah, thanks for noticing, not blowing out highlights and stuff on this.
Barn weddings are just so much fun.
Oh, it was beautiful. My goodness. I'm not a fan of weddings, like not my thing, but it was for some friends and it was worth doing for sure. So that's my story.
It's a good story. I like it.
Thanks, man.
Makes me want to go out and buy spicy shark. So that, accomplishes the goal.
I left with a bottle of one of their stuff. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they local?
Yeah, they are somewhere in Maine, the Maine area.
Hmm.
So the address on the bottle says Portsmouth, New Hampshire, for the 603 website. Or
Then
603.
the companies must be located out of there. But
thespicyshark.com looks like.
Yep,
Yeah,
thespicyshark.com. And you can
they
follow
are-
them on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
see, maybe I included that there on purpose.
There you go. That's what I'd go with.
Apparently they're right out of Portsmouth, so that's cool.
Run with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Spicy shark.
They got stuff and they put their products in a whole bunch of little local places and stuff. The owners live in Maine and they're friends of the family friends of the people that got married. Super cool people. Yeah,
I mean,
get up in
For
there.
a product shot, I would want to clean this up.
So she was literally holding this thing and drizzling it over it while holding her phone up, and it was like she literally snapped the cap down, slapped it down behind it, and I was like and
Yeah.
ran off.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it's not really a product shot. That's why, like, you didn't have the control that you
No.
would want for that. So
Yeah, no, if I told her, I was like, this is on the fly, if you want me to set up and do something for real for you, I'll do that, but for Instagram, have at it.
all right. Well, the timer's gone off. Anybody have anything else for Matt? All right, cool. Good job, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
All right, next up, if you're at the meeting, you recognize that.
Oh, neat.
I didn't have time to do anything else, so I just wanted to make sure you guys saw it in the end. So
Is that the egg that you had, that you were using in the beginning?
That's a different one.
yeah, that was the first one. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I bought some black plexiglass too. And that was supposed to be part of my thing, but again, it didn't work out. So Max used to play with the plexiglass. That's cool.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that you can't see where the end of the plexiglass in the background begins. It's a nice transition.
I love your shadows on the egg because you can still see all the detail, but you
Mhm.
know it's like nice and dark. That is a perfect shadow. I love it.
Yeah, and this one was a single image, so this isn't like a composite or anything. Other than, I mean, the background I made, but like I added the smoke and all of that. But
If
yeah,
there
it's just a single image, single exposure.
there was one thing, I'd say just move that little bird skull back a little bit so that the beak was in focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yep.
But other than that, I think it's tack sharp everywhere it needs to be.
I just
Is
love
that an ostrich egg?
It's a goose egg, I think.
Yeah, goose or duck egg,
Yeah,
yeah.
is it goose or duck? Yeah.
Who brought the skull in?
Deb Manning, right? No?
No,
no,
not me.
it was Beth, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Beth. Yeah. Yeah, it was Beth Dubois.
I love the background color. too.
Combination.
Really nice. The tones in it, it really complements the egg tones. So like that's something that you should always do when you're putting something together, especially with still life. Something that's overlooked.
The color harmony. Yeah, making the colors work together.
Mhm.
colors working together, it's awesome when because it just really it brings the whole image together.
Was that a texture that you added, Sean?
It's an overlay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got a whole package of them from Pro EDU. This is one of there's a whole group of different smoke overlays, and this is one of them, and then I just added a color to it.
Nice.
Very nice.
And if you can look, like I tried to make it look like the beam of light is coming in.
Oh, yeah.
So like that's added as well. So the smoke is set really low, and then I add just an overlay of white to create this like triangle shape up here.
Nice. Beautiful.
Nice shot, Sean. I really don't want anything other than that. This is beautiful. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, I only just got around to dealing with this one the other day, so I wanted to make sure you guys saw it, and since I didn't have anything else to put in today, so. But yeah.
Very nice.
I love it. I love it. Everybody was like, I don't know what to do. That works.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much, well, 3 of us already have done that.
Yeah.
I should be able to get a good motion shot this weekend, but finding time to do tabletop wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So, all right. So unless anybody has anything else for that one, we'll go ahead and move on. Next up is Ben Kramer. He has a skull
Another
in his
skull.
too.
Almost looks like the same skull, Ben.
The theme was still death.
Now this one has a lower jaw.
It still has the beak. That's
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Awesome.
so. What is this blue background, Ben? Is this like paper, or did you do this in Photoshop?
That's a blue poster board,
Blue poster board. Okay.
which actually wasn't nearly as bright as I'd wanted. So I actually have an LED panel above it, casting more blue onto it that conveniently made it brighter. More lighter actually as a blue.
I like the way the is that a rock that the skull is setting on?
Yes.
I like the way the rock mimics the outline of the skull. It's the same shape.
oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I'm being too picky, but I think the petals on top of the skull look too prearranged. Blow a couple of them off and don't make them quite so organized.
Yeah. I kinda went with
Organize those, Ben.
I kind of went with a shrine of some sort.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't it?
Right into the dead animal.
There's a lot of color tweaking afterwards, and it's a focus stacked image as well.
This might be just me, but I almost think that with that drop cloth that you have on the bottom, if you had kind of like arranged that so it wasn't like as wrinkled, I think that kind of distracts me a little bit down there. But other than that, I think your composition is really spot on, and your focus across the whole thing, everything's tack sharp.
Thanks. It's focus stacked, and the black it's the cinefoil that I mentioned to you, Sean, and I was kind of going for as an extension of the rock with that.
Oh, so the wrinkling is intentional to look sort of like a rock. I got you.
Okay, now I get it. All right, that makes much more sense now.
I wonder if the blue is competing a bit.
What about in black and white?
Show us it in black and white, Sean.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Just see what it looks like.
If you can do it with like either a red or a green filter.
Yeah, is it?
I think your black smoke would look nice on this.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
Ah, look at that.
Mhm. Much nicer.
Maybe bring up your reds.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now you're talking.
Oh, yeah.
Bring up the yellows too, bring that out of the leaves.
So fun tip, if you're doing something like this, if you're working with plants and multiple exposures, be ready to do some editing. Because when you have, you know, a piece of branch that you've cut like 2 hours before you're finally getting around to taking your photo, over the course of the maybe 30 to 40 seconds that I did the multiple images for this, for the stack, there was very noticeable and very visible droop happening in the leaves.
Oh,
So if you do a focus stack, make sure you can go through and like clone in the ones that are actually in focus.
Surprising amount of magenta.
I think it's nice either way.
I think it works better as a black and white myself.
I wouldn't have done so dark in the background. I probably would have kept some of that lightness into it. Not make super bright, but I think that gives it a little bit more depth when you have it like that. Whereas the black
Yeah.
into that rock.
With the blue, you can definitely identify the skull better as a skull. When it was black and white, that was a little more challenging to me.
There's your Memorial Day red, white, and blue.
The other thing that I did on this is I actually wet the rock to give it that darker look.
Oh, yeah.
You can see further back, the back edge of that rock, how much lighter it is when it's not wet.
Clever.
I think it's intriguing, and it makes me want to look at it and look around it. So it's successful for sure. Yeah, really cool, Ben.
Very creative. It's neat. Very cool.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys could hear the timer go off, but yep, that's 5 minutes for Ben. Anybody have anything else for Ben?
Good job, Ben.
Thank
Nice
you.
job, Ben.
Nice job, Ben.
Nice shot.
Nice job, Ben.
Like I said, I could have
Right.
used a little more directionality.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you there. I didn't say anything because you already pointed out that it was flat. But yeah, I think I would probably come in from the right with the direction that the skull is facing. Maybe.
Why don't we just have Ben do a lighting class for us?
Yeah.
So, here we go, Ben.
There you go, Ben. That's your job for June.
All right, giddy up.
All right, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to do it, that's fine. But I was joking.
I'm certainly not a professional at it.
No, you've got some great ideas.
All right. So next up, we have Nikki French. I'm not sure she's on the call, but Nikki and her fine art.
Oh,
Wow.
Nikki, you've done it again.
Did she use plexiglass on this?
Looks like there's something reflective in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a reflection.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's plexiglass or just the way it's sort of offset like that. It could just be glass.
I think it's just
Oh, yeah?
an angle.
Yeah.
It looks like you know, the plexiglass is standing up and the flowers are draped over, and then it's shot at a higher angle,
Mm-hmm.
which is how you would get the reflections like that.
It's beautiful.
But the
Oh,
lighting is
yay.
amazing.
Envy.
Not upside down, is it?
This is what she sent, so I'm assuming it's intentional.
No,
But
it
yeah,
doesn't-
but yes, it is upside down technically.
Well, who was it? Pat?
Effective.
Was it your picture that was upside down? There was
Pat.
one,
I don't think Pat's with us yet.
oh. I think it was hers that was upside down that was at the photo contest.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but this is a good example of what we've been talking about with the directionality of light. Like it's coming in from this direction here to the right. I mean, she might have a reflector of some kind to kind of bounce light back in, but it just looks to me like, you know, it's lit here and shadow here. Maybe it's lit from above. Because you have
Almost looks
specular
like it has
highlights
some
here.
from below as well. Maybe.
I mean, it's really well done because there's so much detail in there. Like nothing is blown out at all.
Mm-mm.
It's also a nice play with the format.
Flowers look like feathers.
I love all the detail in the flower petals. It almost gives like a sense of motion to each of them, but because the lines aren't uniform across all of the flowers, like they look like they're moving in different directions.
Something I think that would have helped would be to actually back off the light, because it appears to be that the one side is much brighter than the other side. So I think the light was fairly close, so it's falling off before it gets all the way across. So if I recall correctly, if you back off the light, then that will smooth out the fall off more. So you'd back it off and then increase the power to compensate, but you should get a much more even light across from one side to the other.
I don't know. I like the way it kind of trails off on the light at the end.
I guess the only thing that is a little different to me is that upper left-hand shadow of the farthest left flower. It looks like it doesn't mimic the ones in the background like the other ones do. I don't know if Nikki can explain that. I know she's not here, but I'd love to hear it. Like if you look up a little bit further, Sean, see that's straight and then this one's curved. All the other ones kind of mimic the direction of the flower. So I'm just wondering if it's maybe a perspective, like maybe it's curved towards the camera. But everything other than that, this is gorgeous. I love it. The lighting. I like the lighting the way it is. But I know exactly what you're saying, Ben. If you back it up, it will be less harsh on the front, and it would still be even across all the flowers. So beautifully done.
Yeah, I think that flower on the end is falling a little further in, so it's actually catching shadow from the one on the plane next to it. Yeah, I think it just drooped a little bit, perhaps.
Really, really unique. I like it. It's different looking at it down. It's like almost like she's having him hang upside down for this photo.
I was trying to figure out how she had them placed. At first I thought maybe they were placed just flat, but I'm not so sure.
I think they're hanging. And
Yeah.
then
They're hanging.
you put them down and they
Hanging
flatten
free.
out, you can see that depth. You still see the curvature on the back side of those petals, on the back petals. So they have to be, I think, hanging from something. And it's really
True, and they're not flat, yeah?
Maybe we can get some behind the scenes pictures on Facebook later.
Nikki will definitely do that for us if she sees this video, which I'm hoping she watches later. And because it's beautiful, but I would love to hear how she created this because it's really gorgeous.
Yeah, definitely.
Are they tulips? Is that what they are?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
She did a really good job too of not over sharpening. Because you could have very easily trying to make sure you keep all the detail. You very easily could have lost some of the just the softness and the fragility of these flowers, you could lose that with over sharpening. And she did a really good job of not going crazy with that.
Yeah, there's absolutely no haloing either, which you would get from over sharpening too, which you could do really easy with that really black and then different colors in there. So excellent work on the post-production side.
Oh, and Matt's in the chat and he says we should try this. Let's try this in black and white. So we'll flip it just to see.
Yeah, no.
No,
No.
No.
Yeah, I like the
Brought up
color.
the
I like those
contrast.
pinks and stuff in there.
Yeah, you
Okay.
lose, I think you lose a lot of it by doing black and white.
All right. I think, so the timer's going off. And I mean, I could look at this for 20
Oh.
minutes, and just try and find all the detail and stuff, but we do have to move on. But yeah, I mean, I hope Nikki sees this and I think it's really awesome. I think it's really good.
Great job, Nikki.
Yeah, nice work.
beautiful.
I never thought it was possible.
Beautiful.
All right, next up is Deb Manning, who's been telling us
Teacup,
about her
Deb.
teacups,
My
Yeah.
teacup.
and she finally shows us.
Nice.
Oops, sorry about
That's a
that.
nice color.
I love the
Mm.
background on the black on that, Deb.
I can't remember. I think this is the one with I bought felt, but I have one that I did with my black jeans, my black slacks.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, this is playing around. I found this challenge fun, especially with my teacups. I have other teacup. I bought two, but this was up in my cupboard, and I don't know why I looked up there, but this is one of those teacups that you buy the plates from Dan Star Market. When I was so that cup is probably about 50 years old.
Geek. It's very pretty, very simple.
Thank you.
Good control of depth of field too. You have everything sharp and everything out of focus where it needs to be. Like the front portion of it's in focus, and then you can see
Yep.
it drop off the back. I think you did a really great job execution on that.
Oh, thanks. I can't remember if I used a flashlight or if that was natural lighting. I kept playing with stuff. It's like, so
That's the best way to do it. Just keep playing with things until you figure stuff out.
well,
John,
this is all done on my bed.
I think you did a good job controlling the light too, because I mean, it's always really hard on metal, and so I will never pick fun of that because I do the same thing. So I look at it saying you did a really good job controlling the light, because even in the highlights around the rim, you're not really losing any detail. I mean, there's a small little highlight there, but that's kind of what you would expect. So really well done.
Oh, thank you.
I think it would be a beautiful card.
Well, like I said, I was having fun with this. I've got two other teacups, but this one just seemed to photograph better. I think it's the color.
Yeah, the color's really pretty.
'Cause
I like the
didn't-
way
Yeah.
the way the lighting highlights your strainer.
Totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think my only complaint is that glare on the spoon, and I'm wondering if a grid would have helped prevent that.
What do you
Don't
mean
know
a
if it-
grid?
Yeah,
There's an attachment you can put on various types of light that is basically on like a softbox. It's usually like a square grid that's usually like about an inch thick, and that basically narrows the direction of the light so it doesn't spill out to the sides.
I think that's my window. That's reflecting in there.
I like it. It's very welcoming. Yeah, I like the little strainer, the little tea strainer on the side. Maybe that's what I should have done instead of trying to do hot tea.
I don't know, Deb. I liked yours. When we were talking about it.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
not what
really
I.
liked. I
No,
tried to do. I tried to do something like you. I couldn't find any pearls. I don't have any pearls. I
That's
don't even
not
have-
what I intended to do, but it worked as a backup.
Some loose leaf tea sprinkled might have added.
Ooh.
I didn't have any because I would have put it in the ball. I don't know if you would have seen it or not, but
Yeah, but I agree with Ben. That would have been kind of neat if you maybe just had some sprinkled right around the tea strainer.
There's
Something
some,
could
some
be added.
very photogenic loose
Right.
leaf teas out there.
maybe some drops near the ball.
So it looks
Looks
used. Ah,
Ah,
yeah.
What if the tea strainer was open with tea in it?
Ooh.
oh, there
Yeah.
you go. Well, I'll try that because I still have it pretty much set up in my bedroom. But I'll try that. I'll see. Do I have any strained tea? I don't think I do, but I can
Any
buy
tea-
some.
If you have tea bags, you can just open up a tea bag.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Asina says that you should put some of the hot honey in the background.
I drink
Priceless.
my tea. I drink Earl Grey black, hot, like Jean
Yes.
Todd.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, I definitely think the simplicity works. I also think that like with the suggestion with some tea sprinkled or the tea ball open with a little bit of tea in it would also add to it. The only thing that I'm noticing that maybe was missed in post-production, and I might be the only one seeing it, I don't think it's my computer screen, is it looks like there's some white spots below the saucer and like right next to
Oh,
the
yeah.
tea ball. I don't know if that's
Yep.
like a reflection from the fabric or I was using myself a not black velvet, but like a black fuzzy fabric, and noticed in some of the photos I was taking, if the lighting was off, you could see a little bit of texture to the fabric. So I don't know if that's what
Yeah,
that is. I
that's-
mean,
That's felt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is dust.
It's the window.
Dust is always. a
These
problem.
white specks are dust. Something dust-like that's reflective in the light, and it's being picked up by the camera.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to take care of in both Lightroom and Photoshop. Also, if you just roll a lint roller over whatever piece of fabric you're using before you start, you'll take care of 99% of that with a lint roller. And then you don't need Lightroom or Photoshop.
You'll still need it.
You might a little bit. I mean, I don't know if this was possible to clean up, like these
I-
spots on the side of the, like,
Yeah,
As
I
far as,
thought
like-
I got them, but I didn't. So I did it in another shot, but I got rid of the spots because those are like stained shots from being up in my cupboard too long.
oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Antiquing.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
old.
it's antique.
It's patina.
Patina, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice work, Deb.
Thanks.
Great job, Ed.
Okay, so next up, we have Carol Martin.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
That scotch now is, let's see, my father passed away in 1982 and he had that in his possession for several years before he died. So do the math. That stuff is so old. I don't know if it's any good or not.
Scotch is always
my
good.
I
wife will
don't
take it
think
off your hands.
scotch ever gets old.
Yeah.
Too old to drink.
I don't know. I had my brother and my sister from California, and my brother lives locally. We were all together last week and we were going to open it and we didn't.
Oh,
It's really
still
sad.
not open. Oh, yeah, I see
It's
that.
not opened.
You got to get your priorities straight.
We should have opened it, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we should have, but.
But it's a nice picture.
Thank you. And the label is a little bit damaged, so if you look at the lower left-hand corner there, the lines there, it really has a little wrinkle, and I thought that added to the, it's old.
The age of it,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah, that gives it, I think that just gives it character.
Yeah. Yeah, hi, sweetheart. We were a little bit worried about I mean, a teeny bit worried about opening it because if it's that old and that's really lead crystal, we'd probably die from it. But, you know,
Oh,
I'm sure it's really not. But we didn't do it anyway.
well, you preserved it anyway.
Yeah.
So for something like this, I think the glass, if you were to add either, I mean, I know you didn't want to open it, so I won't tell you to put, I mean, preferably you'd maybe have some in the glass.
I know. I was looking for anything that color. I was going to throw a couple of ice cubes and some, if I
Well, I
had
was
some
gonna say,
Coke or
Could you
something in the
put-
house.
Even just the ice cubes would have been, even if
Carol,
you
what
just
if you
put a
put-
couple of good looking ice cubes in there.
Spicy honey.
Apple
Just
juice.
put
Honey.
something in
What
the
if-
glass.
What about tea?
That would have worked too.
No ice cubes in 15-year-old scotch, I'm sorry.
But this
No?
is for, but
Okay.
this is for a photograph.
Yeah, for the photograph.
Yeah, but even if you watered down some tea or, let it steep and then adjust it to the color of the whiskey. I think that's what they use on TV, isn't it? Tea? When they're
That
doing
could very well
shots of
be.
whiskey.
That could be. I don't know.
I
I thought
mean,
about it, but
I've seen it done with whiskey. You just, I mean, if you're doing product photography, more often than not, especially these days, they want their product used so that it actually represents what the product is. So, but I mean, again, you didn't want to open it. That's,
well, no, and to pour
Yeah,
a little bit of
don't ruin a
something
bottle
that,
of scotch for the camera club. Don't do that.
well, and to put something in the glass and have that thing obviously not open. Maybe it's not obvious, but it's not opened.
It wasn't really obvious to me, so.
No, it's
Okay.
because it looks like you have the cap right there on the side.
Yeah.
It looks like
well,
the cap is off. I didn't recognize until you said something that it looks like there's a cork in it.
Yeah, and then that little pinkish colored on the left-hand corner of the bottle top. That's the paper. You know how they put the,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Whatever
yeah,
that
I know
is.
what you mean, yeah.
yeah,
You.
yeah. So anyway,
So Matt says, it says, I don't know how to read that. Oog, Cape, how that has contrast. And then great control of the highlights here, Carol.
well, thank you.
I
It did
love the
come-
light stopper.
I'm sorry?
I love the lighting in the stopper. There's really
Yeah.
beautiful reflections in there and color.
The bottle actually had a little bit of a green tinge to it. And I removed some green because I didn't like that. It was in the glass and it was a lot more green than that. It was like a Kelly green. So I just sort of reduced the green on it. I'm much happier with it.
Very nice.
Now,
God's
if my
green.
brother and sister and I ever get together again, let's see, it's only been 29, 32 years, 32 years. If we ever get
Someone has
together
to
again,
drink it,
it's gonna
Carol.
be, huh?
That someone has to drink it.
Yeah, yeah. This
So-
is not gonna be one of those legacy things that we pass on. It's gotta go.
So does this sound like a silver tray or something?
No, a black tray.
Oh, okay, cool.
The white or the, whatever color you wanna call that rim around the edge. It's not a flat tray, it has a rim on it. So the
Yeah.
lighting, yeah, right between the bottle and the glass and the stopper and the thing, that's the rim.
Kind of connects them. It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like,
let's connect them.
Yeah,
My only recommendation too, see if you could try to just get that 15-year-old at the top in focus or
So-
the model.
Get it in focus.
Top of the bottle.
The neck
at
of
the
the
top of the bottle. on the back.
Up in the neck.
yeah,
Oh, I see.
that's
Oh.
done with focus stacking in real life.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
that's not like that's almost impossible to do in a single shot when
You're right.
not impossible, but it's difficult. There's more distance between them than you think.
I don't know. I like it the way it is.
Well, thank you. I'm probably not gonna go back to it to do your suggestions. Sorry.
Right.
It's, this is not a keeper.
Like it.
Yeah, I like it.
One
I
thing I
like
really
it.
like about it is the intensity of the red bits on the label.
Did I crop in? No, I did not. I actually planned it and did it just the way it is.
So Ben, what don't you like about the red bits? Are they too saturated for you? Too
No, I
bright?
do like.
Oh, you do like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They seem really intense, like they almost are too saturated, but I kind of like it.
I do see the neck of the bottle is blurry. I didn't catch that before. Oh, well.
Yeah, but Carol, I like it. You know,
Thank you.
I like it just the way it is. I think it's nice looking.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I give any bit of advice would be to try and get a little more light on the label itself.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, that's about it. I mean, it's, you did a good job controlling the light, especially I'm assuming this is a single light source.
Yes, it was a sliding glass door.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I did what you suggested, you know, with the sun coming in. I was gonna try that, what did you call it? Rim lighting?
Yep.
But I just didn't have that kind of time. So, and then I wasn't sure what to do with it because it would just be on the bottle, and what was I gonna do with the glass and the stopper? So I just sort of said, nah.
Yeah, I mean, you could do the rim lighting and then light the label separately.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to do it, you know, to do the rim light and all that, it requires typically multiple exposures that have to be then blended together later. So for a single light source, I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
I like it.
All right, we're down to 5 seconds here. Is anybody have anything else for Carol?
Good job.
Nice job. I like it.
Good job.
Oh, and trying to keep an eye on the chat too. So Matt asked about the crop, and then he said the only reason he asked was it would be nice to see a little more of the reflection below.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing the whole screen, so I can't. Do you have it zoomed in?
Am I zoomed in? No.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's probably just the Zoom stuff on the computer, but yeah, no, I didn't crop it at all. You're right. That probably would have been nice to see a little more at the bottom. You know what I think it was it's a circular tray. It's a round tray. And I think if I had brought it out any further, I was going to have to deal with pieces of the table underneath the tray being visible when I crop, if I didn't zoom in quite as far.
Right, and you're shooting over the lip of the tray too, right? So
I am. Yes.
yeah, you're probably going to run into that as an issue fairly soon if you go any more, you know, any lower than this.
Yeah.
So
well, okay, you know, I mean, it's a possibility, I suppose.
all right, next up is Michael Dubois. Man's going
He
to
said,
work.
uh-oh.
Oh, that's nice.
I like that.
I like it.
Yes, he can
I can
smell
smell
the
this
image.
image. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice picture.
That is.
Very nice.
Actually, when I first saw it down the bottom of the boots, my first thought was Asina. Didn't she do hiking boots before?
She did, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. No, wait till you see what I've got.
Oh,
Ah,
God.
no, here we go.
Yeah, Matt says it tells a story right off the bat.
Yeah. See the,
Definitely does.
definitely. Off
Yeah,
the
the hay and like the weathered board behind it, the inclusion of, you know, an old tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then like these are certainly not new boots. These are well worn.
All since
Every day.
Maddie.
He went outside and took them off.
I don't know what you
and
all are
took the
smelling.
picture.
I don't know what you guys are smelling. I'm smelling the grass, the hay.
The hay, that's right.
Yeah, that is a great picture. Timberland would be proud.
Damn boots.
He's laughing. You can see my horse in the top left part of the picture, just barely.
I really like the focus on this. I think like just the background is so interesting with that wood
just following the whole length of it. But then the crisp of the grass in front of it with, but that the boots are like right dead center. That's where you're focused on. And it's so well worn, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like the shadows that are cast.
Yeah.
As well, coming off the boots. It almost gives a sense of like, okay, now I'm finally at the end of my day. I can take off these shoes and this roll and, go have dinner or something.
And those boots only fit one person.
Yep. And the lighting on this is really nice. Looks like a glow on the boots and the head.
Natural sunlight.
Did you
Yeah,
do this in the morning?
This afternoon, actually.
Afternoon?
Yeah. Stuck between cloud cover, but yeah, this afternoon.
Just glad the shoelaces aren't any longer, because then I'd be saying you'd be tripping over them.
I like it.
very much. That one needs to be framed up for the show, Mike.
Okay.
Keep convincing him.
Really?
Right there, you just see it and you know it. It's nothing much else. It's simple, straightforward.
That's okay. A lot of good photography is.
Yep.
Exactly. That's perfect. I like the bokeh in the background with the green.
Yeah, the green complements the sort of tans and yellows and stuff of the boots and the hay.
Yep.
There's a horse in that green.
There's a what?
A horse.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see the outline of him now that you mention it.
Matt says that he loves the texture and depth of field.
Good. Thank you.
I agree.
They do it how they're just slightly off angled.
Matt says the only thing that sticks out that he thinks could go is the logo, and that the story is well told without any branding. Suppose that's true. You could angle the, I wouldn't worry about trying to, edit that out in any way, but you could like angle the tongue down if you wanted to eliminate the branding.
Yeah.
Or submit it to Timberland and maybe they'll get a couple $100. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they might ask if they can use it on Instagram.
Maybe. Yeah, I suppose today. Yeah.
And get paid.
So where the branding is
I
on
wish
it, can
works-
that go? in
I
the-
wish it worked that way.
Sean,
What?
where the branding is on it, does that mean it can't go in the show?
Oh, I don't see any reason why not.
Okay, I have no idea, never done it.
No, we're a nonprofit, and you're not using this image in order to make money. You know what I mean? It's just a photo.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Matt says that he thinks the branding is distracting, but I don't, because a lot of boots have that on their tongues, the company that they're from. So, it's just well-worn pair of boots, work boots.
Yeah, I can see where Matt's coming from, and then I can also see where what you're saying too, Deb, is that it doesn't really. I agree with you though. I don't think it really matters.
Farm boots.
Matt says, true. Just the only thing I would suggest is also that just means he's being really nitpicky, and that's the point of this. So.
Yep.
So yeah, the point is to get nitpicky about it so that people are actually learning something. So yeah, I think it's well done, Mike. Nice job.
Yep.
All right, next up, we're running out quickly. Amanda Masulis, another skull. That's a theme tonight.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
what's funny is I had actually done a few different setups for this challenge, and a couple of them involved teacups. And I went, I'm not going to use teacups because I know that that's Deb Manning's thing, obviously, not knowing that there were going to be 2 other teacups in the show. And then lo and behold, there's also at least 2 other skulls. So
Skulls and teacups tonight.
well, and one of the other setups that I tried first actually involved my hiking boots. So apparently I just don't have an original thought in my head.
Oh,
You know what, Amanda? You were getting everybody else's messages. You're very psychic.
when I think about your skull compared to the other 2, it certainly is an original thought, though.
You know, that skull to me almost looks like a boot. Just with teeth. Well, look at the shape of it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just my imagination. A skull with,
With teeth?
well, I mean, they do things theatrically, especially rockers, and they do crazy things like that.
Yeah, my husband had a couple of different, 3 different deer skulls, in fact, and I actually took pictures with all 3 of them. The other 2 were considerably smaller and, single antler on either side. And I got some cool photos with them as well, but the faces were not as well put together. And honestly, I like this one the best, not only because of the size of the antlers, but also because of the teeth. So for some reason, I just felt like that sort of added to the ghoulishness of the image, which is kind of what I was going for.
Was this done on your kitchen cabinet?
No, I did start off doing a bunch with the skulls and the teacups on my kitchen counter. And then I ended up, this one was taken downstairs in my office. I actually took that black fabric that I had mentioned earlier when we were looking at your photo and put it over a medium-sized Tupperware bin. And so I was actually like kneeling down most of the time shooting these because that was the level I was at.
That is
Very,
cool.
very interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
What's in
The
the
light is-
background?
The light is really good. I like the light.
Yeah, I did very, very little adjusting to that, actually. Most of what I did in post for this, I did adjust the contrast and the shadows just a little bit, but most of it was just sort of spot fixing the bottom of the inkwell because that was pretty well buried in shadows. So I lightened up that one spot specifically just so that you could see the level of the liquid in there and the bottom of the turkey feather that I was using as a quill, but that was really most of it.
What'd you use for light?
A $10 lamp that I bought at Walmart like 12 years ago. That's one of the ones that has 2 lights attached to it, and they're like adjustable, so you can bend them every which way because they're meant to be reading lamps.
Yeah.
And my office is in the basement, and it just has one very small window, and I had the blinds shut, and because of how low down I was, you couldn't really see the window unless I was trying to use my black plexiglass underneath everything, and then it was reflected. But yeah, I just adjusted the light a few times, and that was it. When I was working on this upstairs, I had my 9-year-old helping me. She was holding a high-powered flashlight and everything, so I could try and get all the lighting angles right. And turns out just being in a darker room with an artificial light source was really all I needed.
It looks really good. I like it. And I like that, how we've all gotten creative and even with lighting and stuff.
I would like to see a little more light on the feather.
That's what I was gonna say on the.
So it doesn't just like disappear into the darkness.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Sean. If we could try and see if you can try to bring up some of the shadows on just that,
Mhm.
I think you would, and then that would be good because what that would do is it would kind of bump you back into the center image rather than fade off to that. Because I think the skull is very well lit, and I like the candles too. But if that quill was just a slight bit brighter, just to kind of
Like the candles.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
um,
gonna say, I
Patty
would
was
love to see
saying.
the candles lit.
well, the thing is, I was actually thinking about lighting the candles, or at least like the big one, and then blowing it out to try and get the smoke. And I get this is subjective, but it is still life. I wasn't sure if, you know, where smoke moves, it would necessarily be appropriate. Also didn't want to accidentally light the feather on fire, but I will say that when I was fixing the lighting surrounding the bottom of the inkwell, I did actually think about fixing up the top of the feather like you suggested, and made the artistic choice to have it sort of fade off, because you can't really see the back of the book that the candles and the inkwell are on either, and those also sort of fade into the background. So with the stripes on the feather, I kind of thought it worked, but I will definitely try that as an edit and see how it looks.
Amanda, I agree with you
Lovely.
on that one. I like the fact that, you know, you kind of left it to the imagination where you could see the little white stripes on it and you didn't need all of the detail, or you didn't need it pushed any further. I think that your mind just kind of makes up that shape as you go along, and you don't necessarily need it. I'd be interested to see what would happen if you did, but I think I'm with you on that one. I like it just as is.
Yeah, so do I, because it may take away from the picture. You know, your eye may go to that feather instead of the skull.
Feather is in the dark side. Gone to the dark side.
Matt says that he likes the mystery of this for sure,
Yes.
and that it's an album cover all day. So, all right, well done, Amanda. I love your approach. It's
Awesome.
fantastic. Well done.
Great job.
Nice
All right.
job.
Yeah.
So
Lovely.
next up is Beth Dubois.
Oh. That is really cool.
Beth, is this on plexiglass or just like a mirror or something?
Black plexiglass, like the boss said to get.
Well, I didn't tell you to get it, but okay.
But it works.
Oh, it's amazing stuff for sure.
Where do you get black plexiglass?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yep.
Like everything in this world, you just go to Amazon and search it and they have it.
They have different
Really?
sizes, Lisa. I bought some the next day.
Black plexiglass?
Yep.
So I did this in my new light box that we just opened up that Santa got me for Christmas.
Oh.
I told Scott it was time I opened it up. I went and I got some red velvet, and I got some black velvet, and I got some dark blue velvet. And I did it with black velvet and then tried it with the red, and I decided the red was much better.
The red's, I love the red with it. Well, look at that, black plexiglass.
Yeah, they have different sizes.
I will warn you, mine scratched almost immediately.
Yeah, it's already
Oh,
scratched.
really?
Yep. It
And is
does.
the scratch really noticeable now that it's scratched?
No, but I was a little annoyed because all I had done was wipe it off with a cloth that's meant for cleaning eyeglass lenses to get some dust off of it, and that cloth scratched.
Huh.
So it's still useful.
Oh.
I'm wondering how it's going to do if I put black marker on them. Scratch.
Is that
Only one way to find out.
is that what the white marks are about, the scratches?
I think. Well, the one up between the cup and the lenses, it's dust. I kept using my eyeglass lens cleaner, but I think it's dust. We have a lot of animals.
Well, in black plexiglass, if you're not careful, will scratch very easily as well.
That's
So
it.
when you clean it, don't use Windex because Windex has abrasives in it. Use just a microfiber cloth to just like wipe it clean and be very gentle with it. Otherwise it will scratch and the camera will pick it up.
What about like a rocket blower on that too, with that?
Yeah, if it's just dust, yeah, definitely just compressed air is a great option.
Mhm.
But if it's something that's really stuck to it, definitely don't use anything with abrasives because it'll scratch it.
Okay,
So-
I'm gonna be a little picky here. On the lens that's by the handle of the cup, is that hair on it? A piece of hair?
The one on the left,
Yeah,
On the top of it?
yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah, right there.
oh, probably. Cats, dogs, okay. Yeah.
Could be anything.
Michael says husband, probably is.
I like how the lenses are lit up. I mean, you can really see the lenses and know that they're lenses. You know what I mean? The lenses are lit. To me, they're lit right.
Truth
That
be
makes sense.
told, I'm a redneck and I have Christmas lights up in that room. So you're seeing the colored lights from the Christmas lights in the lens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
told you, I'm a redneck.
What is on the edges here?
So on the edges, what you're seeing is the hood. The
'cause
hood
this
on
is
my camera.
It's a light box, so it's probably got a hood that wraps around the front of the lens, right?
It's the hood that goes on the front of the lens.
Gotcha.
And behind the red is the light box.
So this
So
is
it's a
the hood
funky-
that like actually attaches to the lens.
The hood does, yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
Like an ashtray. But that's the hood. It's a Nikon hood.
I wonder if for the lens that you're using it on, it might be too big.
That could be.
Because
Yeah.
if the camera's picking it up, if the lens is picking it up, then the lens is too wide for that hood. That hood is too long for that lens. You need something a little bit shallower, and you'll see that disappear.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Did you need the hood anyway for photographing this?
Well, somebody told me that when you're doing still lifes, you should have a hood on your camera.
Well, when we were in RPAC that night, the light was kind of coming almost like at the camera, right? So I had the light almost pointing at the camera, and in that instance, yes, you should use the hood because you could pick up a lens flare with the light coming right at the camera like that.
Could have done this
You
without the hood.
You don't always need to use the hood. It's all a matter of like I always start without it, and if I'm picking up a lens flare, then I'll add it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so I could have done this without the hood.
Yes. Yeah, I would imagine you probably could have. Yeah.
What caused the red over to the right side?
Right here.
Yeah.
I think that's a crease right there where like the box is coming around, and so it's reflecting off that side of the box.
Oh, okay. That
Right, that's the wall of the box, I think.
It's a whole new world.
Keep playing with it, Beth. You'll get it. It's a
I'm
great
trying.
start. It's a great start. Like, nice
Yeah.
job. I like the composition. I like the idea.
Yep.
I mean, red, black, and white always as a color combination is always good. So yeah, well done. Nice job.
Absolutely.
Well done.
All right. Here's Asina. She warned us. Here you go.
Oh, God.
What is that? A
Okay.
coconut?
Is that a coconut?
Yep.
Oh,
Harry meatball.
Harry meatball.
Harry meatball.
Definitely still like Christina. It's really cool.
I'm glad you didn't say or.
Yeah, I was waiting for the or map, but I don't know if I want to know what it was.
No,
You
I
might
don't.
wanna private message me that one.
Going.
Just don't do it in your own picture.
Use raffia.
Yeah. So just like everybody else, I tried my hardest to get a nice photograph where I set up a whole little still life, and then I went to edit and yeah, I didn't have the focus that I needed to submit one of those. So I kind of got frustrated, and then my mind went onto a weird tangent, and the Monty Python joke of the migrating coconuts and how did the swallows carry it,
By
and
the husk,
so
of course.
yeah, so I decided to, since I had a coconut, to try to just take a picture of a coconut. I don't know.
Now, had you included a sparrow?
I don't have a sparrow. I have another kind of bird, but then that wouldn't have been a still life. So
Well, I mean, you make it a still life. That's up to you.
like a dead parrot.
Right. Like a dead parrot.
Or a skull.
This parrot is deceased. So I like the light coming in. I definitely like that. This section here, I'm not sure is helping anything. It kind of grabs your attention away from the detail. So like whatever, this bit of the husk, I guess is what it is.
I think if it was more in focus on that, then it would be a nice contrast with the shadow of the coconut.
Okay.
Matt asked, so you just happen to have a coconut lying around?
Yes, I did. I have no lime.
I wonder
Doesn't
if
everybody?
I wonder if some of this were toned down a bit up here and pick up a little bit more of the detail in the highlights.
Sure.
I love this right here. Where you're seeing the detail of like all the fibers and stuff. And the textures of the coconut are really cool. And I think you're losing some of that in these highlights.
Okay.
But you could put a Molotov cocktail in it and send it to the Ukraine. They could use them to bomb.
We'll send it over with we'll have a sparrow carry it.
It's a simple question of weight ratio.
Yeah. European or African?
Well, European swallow maybe, but
All right, so we've all seen that movie too many times, which I'm not even sure is
Have we
possible.
though?
There's no such thing.
No, there's no too many times for Monty Python's Holy Grail. Beth just got it.
I saw that. Yep.
Oh man.
The only other thing I would say is you gotta I'll maybe try to position myself too, so around the coconut and see what you can find for like interesting textures. So like Sean says, that's really nice up there. Like look at the whole coconut and see where maybe it's got the most appealing side, or has maybe cool details in it, and play with the right way, and then rotating the light and see where you can get the most bang for your buck.
Jared, it's still a coconut.
Well, no, but I agree with him. Had the light, if the coconut had been pushed further into the light, it might wrap around a little bit more.
Okay.
And then you have this. I mean, this shape right here almost looks like an eye. You could play with that a little bit. It's like the eye of Sauron right here in the middle.
Put some googly eyes on your coconut.
There you go. One googly eye. It kind of has one. Look, right there.
I think it kind of tells a story. You can look at it and I thought of, well, you could turn that into a bomb for the Ukrainians, but then you can look at it, who made this way so they could carry it. There's all kinds of ways to look at that, but there is a story.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I think if you want to have some fun with it, latch onto the meatball aspect and put this thing in the middle of a plate full of sauce with a fork and knife. Get a little surreal with it.
I think you should borrow the little baby bird skull and have it like coming out of that hole in the middle.
Oh man. Right here.
Well, like what Ben said, put it on top of spaghetti, and then also I think of as when he mentioned that, I thought of on top of old spaghetti.
I
that
lost my old
song.
meatball, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you there's a story.
All right, well, I will take all of your advice. I'll have a photo shoot with my coconut this weekend and we'll see what happens.
I'd love to see what you could do with a pineapple.
Wow, wow.
Is that a challenge?
Nice job.
Yeah, I can make a pina colada. Want to come over?
And last but not least, we have Susie, who's taking the plunge for the first time.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh, I love
Well
that.
done, Susie.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice.
This involved tweezers, didn't it?
No, it involved making a wish.
Wow.
Susie, are you still on?
Cool.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hi.
The colored background is really neat too.
That was a purple shirt.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And then I put it into, what's the name of that? It's a photo lab, maybe. And it was a retro, and it turned the background different colors. So I just made it go up into the corner instead of the whole background, just to break it up a little bit. Topaz
lovely.
Lab.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have topaz.
It almost looks a little Northern Lightish.
It does.
Yeah.
So what happens when you make a wish? You get the Northern Lights.
Really?
Pineapple pizza for life.
So did you place those? I think someone had mentioned a tweezer. Did you have like a little tweezer how did you place all those? That's really cool.
No, I just took the dandelion and I shook it.
Ah.
They all fell just like that.
And they fell like that. And then I had a reflector that I moved over my head to get the reflection coming from a window. And it made them go in another direction. I didn't realize it would make them move that much. So this was the final one that I picked a few out that were scattered too much.
It's really neat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Matt-
is.
Matt
I
asked,
really like the effect.
I didn't know how to use my camera because I'm new at this. I didn't know how to get all of them in focus in the front. It ended up focusing just on the center of that dandelion.
for this, I don't think you need these ones in front to be in focus.
No?
No.
No, because your center of interest is right here, and your eye just sort of follows it right into that.
I totally agree with you, Sean. I think it's good that they're out of focus. I think it kind of brings you towards that a little bit too.
So what depth of field does for you, Susie, is it's allowing you to create depth, right? So it's, instead of it being a two-dimensional image, it creates a three-dimensional image because your eye sees this way, right? If you ever really look around and notice, like you'll see that there's focus fall off, you know, just the way your eyes work. So this gives the image some depth, which is really nice. Makes it look bigger than it actually is.
You know what I like too is the center of the little seedlings there, and how the white in the middle is on each one is it almost looks like they were their own little lights.
Yeah, it's like all little Christmas lights.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you know, it just looks, I don't know. It's, to me, it's perfect.
Matt asks, how did you not breathe, sneeze, or blow this out of composition? Yeah, if you breathe too hard, this all goes away.
That's true.
Did you use a tripod for this?
I did.
Yep. Cool.
I was just curious, what if we cropped a little bit of the bottom out and a little bit of the top out and kind of brought it in a little bit more?
Something a little bit more like panoramic.
A little more panoramic, maybe like
10 by 9 ish.
What am I doing? Don't do that. Hold on a second. What's happening here? It wants to make a proof copy. Proof preview.
Is that a new update?
Oh, it's soft proofing for some reason. Hold on a second. Turn that off. There we go. The mouse I use at my in my office here is not the most accurate thing in the world.
Oh, there's one.
I like the original better.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
The idea is good, but the background and the background especially is such a big part of it. I think it needs
Almost
some
looks
of it.
like
It
the outline of
tweaked
a
a little
baby.
bit, but not too
Yeah,
much.
I would be, for future reference, when you're doing something like this, be careful of this kind of a crease here, because I think that's a little distracting.
Mhm.
You know, you want your background to be, you know, if you're going to use like fabric backdrops, just try and keep them fairly straight, unless you're going to intentionally drape them. That makes them look, you know, intentional.
Right.
I mean, otherwise, I think you did a great job.
I think it's an awesome job. Well done.
Very nice.
Beautiful. Fairy lights.
Fairy lights, that's the word.
That's it.
Yeah, it
Okay.
almost
Fairy
looks like,
lights.
I was thinking
Yeah.
Christmas lights, you know, same thing. It's just, it's almost like
Yeah,
you could find constellations in here.
Yes. Yes.
You're like, here's Orion's belt right here.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of him is missing, but his belt is right there.
Yeah, no, that's a very cool picture.
Yeah, way to go, Susie. Nice job.
Very
Great.
nice.
Thank
And
you.
also
Good job.
good job participating and submitting. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So I commend you for even doing it at all.
Thank you. I've learned a lot tonight.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I sometimes forget that it's not just us having just having a chat and some laughs. You know, people actually get something from this sometimes.
We're learning.
So Matt says, I keep forgetting to check the chat on him here. Sean's new at Lightroom. He's a Photoshop guy, folks. Don't let him fool you. That's kind of true. Then he's more to the point. I think this is a beautiful representation of nature in a controlled environment. And when I mentioned constellations, he said that was my thought as well, stars. So really cool. All right. And that's our 13 photos for tonight. Great job, everybody.
Very nice, everyone.
Everybody.
Good job, everyone.
Good job.
Very nice.
So I know the Morses were late. Chris, yours was done first. And you were late coming on, but we did record it, so you can go back and watch it after the fact.
I will do that. Thank you.
And I didn't miss Peter's, right? He didn't send one in. Did I forget that one somewhere?
No, he didn't get one in.
Okay, just want to make sure, because I have a tendency to do that. It seems almost every meeting.
Hi,
Yeah.
Maddie.
So
a note on there.
what did everybody think of this challenge? Was this one difficult?
Yes, because it's not something I normally do. I mean, it's nothing that yeah. So I struggled with it, which is why I did not do one.
Oh,
And I didn't have time.
I loved it. I definitely had to experiment a lot with lighting and positioning. And funny story, I don't really use my tripod that often, bad me. So it's been sort of just banging around in the back of my car for a while. So I brought it in and went to open it up and couldn't use it because one of the legs was broken.
oh
So
no.
I went to use it for this challenge, and yeah, my husband's been down with COVID, so I have not made it a point to go out in public if it's not absolutely necessary. So yeah, everything that I was shooting freehand, which did involve, me having to contort myself into positions that would make a yoga master envious, and climbing up onto my kitchen counters and all sorts of other fun things. So I actually had a great time doing all of that.
I had fun with it, and mine was old handheld. I didn't use a tripod, but I did use a higher ISO. But I found it a lot of fun with my teacups. But now it makes me want to go out and pick dandelions and get my highlights out.
Well, I will end up posting some
I've
teacups.
been looking at still life photos. I have some ideas, and I will practice. I just ordered a black plexiglass piece.
Oh, nice.
So I did just order a piece from Amazon, so that'll be here tomorrow, actually. So I do have some ideas, and I will do something for the show. But it's just not something that has ever interested me to do. So it's definitely going to be a challenge.
Lisa, didn't you say the other day, step out of your comfort zone, my friend?
Yes, I did, Deb.
There you go. I was going to tell you to eat those words. No,
I know. As I said, this is not something I've ever done. So it's going to be a challenge.
It's actually, I think, one of the reasons that it was chosen as a topic is that it is sort of outside of the norm for most photographers who, especially, I don't want to say like amateur or newbies, but just people who are used to going out in like great big expanses, shooting landscapes or horses or whatever it is you're into. It's, getting small and actually working on a tabletop and building a set and creating something that's in your mind's eye and having full control over it is way outside of most people's comfort zone.
Well, we did remember when we did the thing for Studley's a couple of years ago?
Yep.
When they had us, yep. So we had a whole section in there set up. And remember in one of the rooms we brought in stuff. So, and then we did, part of the challenge for that was to do something for Studley's for them to pick. So I have done it. it's not, I'll work on it.
Yeah, I think that we did it was either still life or tabletop challenge once in the past. I remember doing my own teacup shot back in that one.
I think it was the one for Studley's.
So
I will get it.
Matt asked that if you have behind the scenes or failed attempts or like a trial and error process, that sometimes that's good for other people to see. And you're certainly welcome to post that in the members only group if you don't want to make that public. I promise no one will share it out on you. But yeah, any behind the scenes, or if you have any of that, any of that kind of thing, Matt would like to see it. So
definitely a great challenge. Like Amanda, my daughter and my granddaughter showed up at my doorstep for the last 10 days because the other half of the family had COVID.
Oh, geez.
Well, I've got a 3-month-old granddaughter who was a preemie, so she wanted her out of the house. So that was kind of my distraction last week.
Sure, yeah.
So unfortunately, I didn't get anything done, but hey, it was good.
Well, my daughter had COVID over a week ago. They ended up giving her the pills, and her whole work group had it. She works for the state of Maine in Health and Human Services, and they all came down with it.
No,
How ironic, Health and Human Services.
Yeah, no, this one.
I said, how ironic, Health and Human Services.
Yeah.
And they got COVID.
Yeah, she ended up taking the pills. She kept getting metal, like a metal taste. She was pretty sick with it. She had me worried, and she had been around my husband and I, so I called our doctors and we tested negative. So that was good.
My son-in-law was really, really, really sick. And my grandson was sick, but not as bad. But no, my son-in-law was down and out for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get my husband, who should have been sick as all could be, giving his circumstances, and he had a headache and he was tired. And other than that, he had nothing.
Well, that's really good news.
Yeah, no, it is good. I mean, he should have been the one that should have been really, really sick. And he wasn't really, really sick, which was really, really good, because that
my husband and I had back when they, just before we were due to get our shots, when the shots came out. And, oh God, was I miserable with it. And people say, oh, it's no worse than the flu. Well, yeah, it's worse than.
Depends on who you are. And
It does depend on who you are, yeah.
I know, but
Exactly.
that's the trouble with this virus. You just don't know what it's gonna do to you.
No,
Exactly.
we don't.
Everybody's
Everybody gets it.
different.
Well, even
Yep,
the flu,
everybody
it
gets
depends
it.
on who you
My
are.
husband was in close quarters with his brother the day before he tested positive in a car driving in and out of Boston, and his brother never got it. The day before, he was in a car driving in and out of Boston with a newly lung transplant recipient, and he never got it. So there's no rhyme or reason as to who gets it, who doesn't get it, how you get it, and I mean, the healthiest people can get sick, and the unhealthiest people, or the people whose immune systems are just totally shot, as in my husband, didn't really get it at all. And it's just, it makes no sense. It's no rhyme or reason.
No.
Her oldest daughter got it, but her husband didn't. She was pretty sick for a whole week,
Yeah.
but he didn't get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
my daughter's babysitter had it. My daughter spent 4 hours with her that morning. And
And she didn't get it.
she didn't get it. I didn't. I was in the house with her. I didn't get it. Nobody got it.
Well, I was actually with my son-in-law and grandson 3 days before they tested positive. So, I mean, I was in a direct contact with them. They're in Rhode Island. I'd gone down for the day, of course, hugged everybody, but I didn't get it. My daughter didn't get it, and the baby didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, myself and my kids have all tested negative. My husband's the only one in the house that's gotten it.
Yep.
Luck of the draw.
There's no rhyme or reason. Doesn't make
The
sense.
recovery process.
What's that?
Amanda, is he doing better?
Yeah, I mean, last weekend was really, really rough. He's still really tired and having a lot of pain with his lungs, but he's also asthmatic, so it hit him pretty hard. But,
Prayers.
Well wishes for him, Amanda.
no,
Yeah,
thank you.
well, it's just,
Yeah.
Life's too
Is he
short.
on-
Where all we have is each other.
is he on that medication that they have out, that Pfizer has out?
No, they prescribed it, and I did pick it up for him at the pharmacy when I actually went to drive through to have my own PCR test done. And so we have it here, but he's feeling well enough that he didn't want to have to take it. So we kind of have it here as a just in case.
In case anybody doesn't know, or if you haven't seen it recently, so the government is now issuing 8 free test kits out there that just came about last week. So if anyone wants to take advantage of that per household, that is
they're
now
doing it.
available again.
Again, yeah.
Yep, that became available last week. So we get 8 more test kits.
Yep, it is scary.
Yeah.
It is definitely 100%.
Like I said, you just don't know. I mean, everybody's different with this stupid virus. I was hoping it would mutate down to just the cold, but I guess it's not going to go that way.
Well, I think it probably will eventually, but it takes
Eventually.
a very long time.
Yep.
A
I know
couple years isn't going to do it.
I know one thing, I'm COVID tired. I can honestly say.
I think we all are, Deb.
We all are,
Yeah.
Deb.
Everybody is.
I think photography has been kind of, that and geocaching has been kind of a lifesaver for us.
Yep.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
you gotta occupy your mind.
Because you don't have to be around people.
On the email that you put out for the New Hampshire Art Association,
Yeah,
where the topic is new.
Yeah.
got new work.
Yes,
New work.
and I thought of it, I was like, oh my gosh, I've taken up this whole flower lens baby has been my 2-year learning process. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, there was some explanation there of what new work means and like how much time, like within the last couple of years, I think is what it said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I read the guidelines and you know,
But otherwise, it looks like it's pretty open as far as topic and
yep.
Subject matter and what you choose to do and medium. Like it's pretty open otherwise. It's just
Yeah.
they want new images that haven't been shown especially haven't been shown in NHAA in the past.
Right, and new is what have you done
Yeah,
new?
what have you been out doing recently?
New that you haven't done before, or what have you taken up?
So is anybody planning on entering
Yeah.
I will be.
NHAA show?
Yeah.
Yep, I am. Yep.
Yeah.
So for anybody who has never entered with them, do keep in mind that it is a juried show. So there is the possibility that you enter, and like I've entered into these shows before and not been accepted.
And you
don't
do
get your
have
money
to
back.
pay.
Yeah,
It's like $40 to enter or whatever as a non-member.
Yeah.
And if you're not accepted in,
Yeah,
I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that there's no guarantees for that show, whereas it's completely
there is
different
a-
for our shows.
So
There
the
is a
other-
fee to get into the show also.
Yes, it's $40, I think, for a non-member.
yeah, so
For 2 images and 50 for 3, but then you also have to have it framed up a specific way. I've had some of my images accepted into that exhibit before.
one thing
Yeah,
that
they are very, very, very picky about the finish of it, what it looks like, the
Yeah, they
backing
want it
on
to-
it, how it's hung. Yeah.
It's a
They
legit
have a-
gallery, right? So it's
Yeah.
a real art gallery. So they want to know that it's going to hang well and
Yeah.
look really nice. You can't just run down to Staples, or I mean to Michael's and buy a frame. You got to do it right.
No.
They
it
have
has to be-
training guidelines online that you go by to make sure that it's done. Because yeah, I've had stuff in there too, Deb.
Even
so.
the labels on the back have to
Yep.
be specific. No, it was
Yeah.
a big undertaking.
So the labels on the back, you can print right from their website. I'm a member at NHAA, so I'll be entering also. But the thing that you got to make sure is when you actually put all that information there, they're going to ask for images. So they're going to want a clean image of what you're photographing, so it shows all the vivid details. So like one of your JPEG files you sent to them. But the other one that's important is the finished product. So make sure that when you have it in the frame, you want to take a picture of it in its frame, preferably without glass, so there's no reflections. But that's also going to show them what the finished product looks like. So then they have 2. So if you do get accepted, they put you online with those images so that it can help you sell. So that's critical too. It'll have 2 sections for that to put in there. You put in 2 images, one of the finished product and one of the actual image. And then for the labels in the back, you can, when you generate it, it's through the website that they go through, that you put your art call in, and you put it in there. You can just say print label, and it will actually, you just get the label, you print it, cut it all on the dotted lines, and then just bring it with you. They'll give you a piece of string to tie to the back. And it can't be like one of the hook mounts. It should be a wired hanger on the back, wire on the back for it to hang, because the way the gallery is laid out, it's really difficult if it has any other sawtooth or specific, like weird specific hanger that only fits one thing. So
Yeah, they have the guide. They have guidelines on their website of all their hanging requirements and framing requirements. Yeah.
I've hung in there a bunch of times recently. So if you have any questions about it, or if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I can reach out to Amanda, who's the gallery manager down there, because she can definitely give you some insight. But it's typically what it is. They put it in there, and the juror selects all the images that are going to go into the show.
So Jared, when you said that you have to submit an image of the finished product, you don't have to do that first, right?
So you typically
After, because I don't usually have something made for them unless I've been accepted.
Well, you can. I mean, I've always done it that way because I have a bunch of finished work, but they do want both images, and it's hard once they've done the art call. They don't like typically like adding more images.
Oh, I didn't realize you had to do the last time I did it was 2. I missed it last year, but the year before when I had 2 images accepted and I had to go out and get them framed, we didn't.
Yeah, I've never had to submit a finished image of the finished product. I've never had to submit that
Me
before.
either.
So how
No,
been doing it, they've been wanting the 2 images. And a lot of people have been fighting about it because like, I don't want to take pictures of my art and put it through art call. A lot of members are complaining too. So if
Well, I don't want to spend the money on something unless I know for sure it's been accepted.
Exactly. The other part of
there's
it,
been a lot of issues with it, especially at the meetings for the group. They're like, we don't like the fact and all this. And so just keep that in mind. If you just submit the image, maybe they accept it and then send them a finished product later. I know I tried to do that and it was not, they were too thrilled with me. So
well, the president, Renee, also is part of our camera club and I'm friends with her, so I could also ask her too. The other part of it was trying to figure out, you have to give them a price to sell it. They get 40% commission. So I shortchanged myself the first time. I mean, I luckily I didn't sell any piece of it, but I literally would have lost money on it.
Yeah.
Didn't we at one time, Sean, have a whole formula of that we went over in class, one of the meetings that we had, that we went over how to price stuff?
I think we did touch on it at a meeting, I mean, way back when. I think we were still in the front room at
Yeah.
RPAC when we did that.
But
But we
you
can,
also-
if it's something that people want to touch base on. I mean, I remember last year Jared did a talk about hanging, like how to properly hang for shows. I mean, we have a lot of new members again. Maybe June is just a good time to kind of re-go over some of that, how to price your work for shows.
Mhm.
Well,
Um,
if you get your work sent out, because there was a place, is it called Image Arts in Portsmouth, where I had my stuff framed up. That's the club, our club, the other club uses them a lot. I had no idea how much they were going to charge me to frame up my pieces. So you have to give them a price when you submit your artwork to be juried.
Mhm.
And how do you even know what it's going to cost you? To
You
get
just
it
put a
framed?
crazy price on it.
So
Well, I know that now. I mean, I ended up selling my 2 pieces after the show and I made money on them, but
one other thing you got to consider too is, and Sean made about this in one of our group chats the other day, was like when you actually put stuff into a gallery, things you want to consider is you're really not putting yourself in the gallery to make a lot of money. But you have to
No.
get yourself exposure. So just try to make it so that way you can get, I mean, make it worth your while, right? That's a big thing that comes from it, especially hanging in the NHAA. That's a really good exposure spot. So it gets your name out there so people become interested. And then that's one way you can leave a bio and put it in the book down there at the show also. So then they can look you up.
And that's true, but I spent $200, close to $200 for a frame and to have it framed up. And so I think I had only put a cost of like $250 on it. So if they'd have taken 40%, I mean, I would have lost money. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So learning the first time was a great experience. I know better now.
Yeah. The people that are buying art down there, I remember sitting there when people come up from Cape Cod and they go, we come shopping here because the prices are so much more reasonable than they are down there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the prices in there sometimes are like if you go into NHAA and there's a photo on the wall and it's like $800 for this like frame piece, you know, just throw a crazy number out there. Maybe you make some money. Otherwise, Matt makes a good point in the chat. He says break even and enjoy the experience. If you sell after, you win.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. If I would have break even, that would be great. But in that particular case, but again, it was a great experience and I'm looking forward to submitting again, hopefully getting it.
Hey, Jared, I'm reading the how to submit instructions for it. And
Yeah.
it says you must submit, you can upload 2 images for each piece. Image 1 is of the work itself without the mat and frame. Image 2 includes the mat and or frame. Image 1 is required, image 2 is optional. So
Okay.
you do not need to do the second one.
It could help you out. I'm not going to tell you what to do on that one. I know I put both up because I always look at it. If I don't put it, if it doesn't make it to the gallery, it's a nice piece to hang in my own house. And then I put it on my website. But again, not everyone has that luxury. So it's just something to consider. It can definitely help it out because sometimes they say, well, what's it look like when it's mat up? And you have a beautiful picture and then the framing on it's all bad and they get really upset about that. But again, I mean, I would just leave it open to you guys on that and just kind of giving you some helpful insight from my experiences of working with them.
But they'll also reject it if it's not.
That's true. When you drop off, if it's not up to what they
There's-
want on the walls, they can just send you home.
Yep. And that, I think that was listed, at least 2 years ago it was, that
Yeah.
it was all dependent
So-
upon the final product.
But yeah, I mean, as long as you do the right thing and either get something, get a nice canvas printed up or something, so you know how much you're in on it, because that's one way to know is,
Yep.
You can go into, if you're not hell-bent on using like a local framer, you can always go into any one of like the labs that are out there and they all have the prices are all listed right there. Or if you want to know, have something you're interested, take it on down to Chris out at Riverstones and just get a quote. How much would it cost to frame this up? There's no obligation. She'll stand there and give you a quote. There's no obligation to get it done, but at least then you know.
Exactly.
So anyways, hey, I'm going to, one last thing from Matt. It's a gamble, but hey, look at Peter Lick.
Yes. Love him.
Oh man, the guy's a quack.
Oh, shut up.
The guy's a quack. Anyways, you can look up Peter Lick if you want. The guy, he charges like
$1 million.
I mean, ridiculous amounts of money. And like he does every single print is a short print run. And it starts off at one print, and as they sell and they become rarer, which isn't true. The print runs the same, but to him, they get rarer and rarer. So the price goes up as each one sells until at the end, they're like $40,000 or something. I personally don't think he actually sells them all, but you know, the guy's a quack. And his work, I mean, his work is really beautiful, but it's not that much better than anything else out there, to be honest. So anyways, you can look him up. His work is really cool. His last name is Lick, L-I-K. It's interesting what he does. You can read up on it if you're interested. But I need to go finish packing. I leave for the racetrack tomorrow, so I have a lot still to do. So guys, thank you very much. Thank you for submitting. Thank you for the good conversation as always.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Have fun,
Thanks.
Sean.
Thank you.
Have a good night,
Thanks, guys.
guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.